Hey guys, Scott here with a short, more of a PSA type of video because it's just something I want to say after looking at comments from the Object of Obsession and Decisive Strike changes. And I gathered a bunch of screenshots of tweets and like forum posts and things like that. And I was going to have a whole video where I just went over how dumb some of these comments were. But that ended up just coming off as spiteful and immature, and I don't want to be like that, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to address the shared opinion of what amounts to apparently like a quarter of the community, because everybody does this to some extent. I think I probably have even done it at some point, but it's a mindset I think as a community we need to get away from. And it is, whenever something is nerfed on one side, for some reason, on the side that was nerfed, everybody just ignores every other nerf that's happened to the other side. And they only pay attention to the buffs done to that side, and the same goes in the complete opposite direction as well. For example, what's going on here is obviously DS is getting nerfed, and Object of Obsession is getting a smaller nerf, but it's still a nerf. And there are a comical amount of comments of people saying that this game is killer-sided, they only cater to killers, it's just been buffs to killers, buff, killers, blah, 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 blah. And there's the same shit that happens on the complete opposite side, on the rune nerfs. It's the same exact comments, but all they do is buff survivor, nerf killer, blah blah blah. Everyone does this shit every single time there's any change to the game. They focus on the side that's getting nerfed and ignore everything else on the other side because they just want to be a whiny bitch. I don't know. I can't think of any other good reason for it, but I think we really need to take a step back. And if you're actually saying that, and there are a lot of people saying that. I copied one tweet. I'm not going to say who did it or anything like that. I'll just say, you're nerfing two of the strongest survivor perks and buffing killers every chance you get is making the game borderline unplayable. So it's just comments like this that it just blows my mind. How can you ignore how much shit is being nerfed on the killer side too? And I'm not taking this video as killer-sided or survivor-sided. This is, as most of my videos are, just firmly down the middle, because both sides do this pretty much equally. But how can you say something like that when, like, in this same patch, like Undying, one of the most powerful killer perks in the game, is getting nerfed pretty heavily? It's like in the same patch, man. And then it's like ignoring like Rune being nerfed, and then Mori's being nerfed, Billy. It's just like the people just for some reason, especially in this community, are so fixated on just the side that they play that they cannot for a millisecond take a step into the other side and realize that, they also get things nerfed too, and they also get things buffed. And both sides receive nerfs and buffs because certain things are just bullshit and need to be changed. It doesn't matter which side it's on. If you have a perk like the Old Medal of Man, it doesn't matter if it's a killer perk or a survivor perk. It's bullshit, and it needs to be changed. Rune Undying, I'm sorry, killers, if you don't think this way, but I firmly believe so, was a little bullshit, especially against a solo queue team. Rune Undying with bad luck was fucking stupid. You'd have to break like 4 runes if you were unlucky, which is just stupid. That's just not great for the game, in my opinion. So I'm glad it was nerfed. So I think people really need to take a step back and realize that both sides get things changed, and not really complain that they're not touching the other side that much, because they do. They do actually kind of attack both sides. Now, the problem is, and I think the reason a lot of these complaints happen, is because they're so slow at making changes. They typically do big nerf for survivors this patch. Then the next patch is, a big nerf for a killer thing. And then the next patch, like these big changes are separated by, a single patch and 3 months apart. So it's a lot easier to only focus on the side that's getting affected, because apparently people can't remember things from 3 months ago. And I think that's what's going on. So basically, just take a step back. When you see something is being changed, look back a couple months ago and realize probably the other side just had something nerfed as well. It's not just all you getting targeted. You're not oppressed. It's everyone is getting changes. And overall, these changes, at least these recent changes, have been pretty good. And I think it is kind of silly to try to defend Rune Undying, and I think it's try to silly to defend current Decisive Strike. I think they're both unhealthy things for the game, and they're both being changed, which is good. So that is basically it, guys. Just a short video. Just stop fucking bitching.